Disney just dropped huge news. Genie Plus system is gone and being replaced by a brand new system. Worried what this might mean for your next Disney trip? Don't worry, I gotcha. Starting on July 24th, Disney Genie Plus, the system that allows you to pay in advance to get in a designated queue line for attractions, will be replaced with a new system simply called Lightning Lane. So it sounds simpler, but there are some things you need to know about it, which I'll get to later in this video. First off, there are two types of lightning lanes included in this new system. There's the Multipass and the Single Pass. Now, the Multipass is most like the Genie Plus system that we know now. This is where you'll book most of your attractions, but there's a twist that I'll get to later. Now, the Single Pass is most like the individual lightning lane system. And just like with the individual lightning lane system, you'll still pay individually for these single passes. Now, let's get into the details of each type. Let's start with the Multipass because that's going to be the one that you're going to be using the most and probably is going to take the most finessing and strategy to figure out how to use. Now, the Multipass is kind of like old school FastPass Plus. I know some fans have been clamoring for the return of FastPass, and it's kind of like Disney said, I hear ya, but I'm going to give you this instead. Now, the best news about this new system is that you can book up to 3 lightning lanes in advance. So no more waking up at 6:45 a.m. ready to book lightning lanes at 7 a.m. You will still have to wake up a little early on the day that you actually can book lightning lanes. That's because you're now going to be able to book lightning lanes 7 days before your trip if you are a Disney Resort guest or guest of select Disney resorts like Shades of Green and the Swan and Dolphin. Or if you are not staying at a Disney resort, you can book up to 3 days in advance. Now, this definitely gives an advantage to resort guests as they'll be able to book their lightning lanes first and they'll have more selection for some of the more popular attractions. This also really is an advantage for resort guests who are staying for a longer amount of time. That's because you can book your lightning lanes 7 days before the first day you check in for your resort, but you can book them for the entire length of your stay up to 14 days, meaning if you're staying at Disney World for 7 days, you can go ahead and book all 7 days. So you'll have your initial 3 lightning lanes ready to go for your entire trip before you even get to Disney World. So that is a huge plus with this new system in my book. Now, one of my big questions with this new system was, does this mean that we're pretty much just going to be limited to 3 bookings now? Whereas with the previous Genie Plus system, if you could get more than 3 bookings. And the answer is not necessarily, because after using one of the 3 initial bookings that you made, you'll then be able to book additional bookings the day of. Now, I imagine when we're talking strategy, which there's a whole lot still unknown when it comes to strategy, but I would theorize that making 2 attractions priority attractions and then making one maybe a less popular attraction that would have an earlier return window. Therefore, the day of, you could tap in pretty early in your day, and that frees you up to book another attraction. Now, when this new system goes live, I'm going to be doing a lot of strategy and testing of it, so make sure to subscribe so you can see the latest on how this all actually works, because it's definitely going to be an impact to your next Disney trip. Now, there are some restrictions with this new system, like all 3 initial bookings have to be at the same theme park. But once you use one of your initial bookings, you can book it for any other theme park. However, with those initial bookings, you won't get to book just anything you want because, like the FastPass Plus system of the past, there are tiers to this new booking system. Well, all parks except Animal Kingdom, at least right now, have 2 tiers of attractions.
Please stand clear of all paths.
Now, in advance, you'll be able to book 2 attractions from Tier 2 and 1 attraction from Tier 1. And as you can probably guess, Tier 1 attractions are going to be the more popular attractions. We're talking things like Frozen Ever After at Epcot, attractions like that. I'm going to put the full list of the attractions that are in Tier 1 and Tier 2 down in the description below for you to take a look at. Now, while Animal Kingdom right now only has 1 tier of attractions, I can imagine that that might change as more attractions in land come online for Animal Kingdom. Noteworthy as well that at least right now, this is subject to change as anything around this policy is, but there are no meet and greets or entertainment included in the multi-pass option like there was previously with Genie Plus. Tier 1 attractions at Magic Kingdom include things like Thunder Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Epcot, you got Remy, Soarin'. Hollywood Studios is Mickey and Minnie's, Millennium Falcon, Rock and Roller Coaster, Slinky Dog, and now you may have noticed some big names missing from that attraction list, and that's because really popular rides like Rise of the Resistance are going to be part of the single pass system. Now, just like with individual lightning lanes, you'll pay for these single pass attractions individually. You can get up to 2 single pass attractions a day, but now one of the big changes is that it's going to be streamlined if you want to book both offerings, whereas with the previous system, you had to do Genie Plus and then individual lightning lanes separately. Here, it's all going to be combined in a beautiful package all together. Ooh, fireworks. Oh, I think it's fantastic. As you go to checkout, you're going to be able to book both your multi-pass and your single pass all at once. Booking the single pass makes no impact on the multi-pass bookings. They overlap, so no worries there. Now, there's no specific pricing information as of this recording, but Disney did say that pricing would be similar to what it is currently. While we don't have details on specifics yet, Disney did confirm that pricing will still fluctuate by day in theme park like it does currently, and the pricing will be accessible in the My Disney Experience app, so you'll be able to see what it is ahead of time. That part should look pretty similar to what we're currently used to with Genie Plus. Now, where changes really come into play is the actual booking process the day of, so let's dive into that. I love Riviera. So you're going to book your single pass and your multi-pass at the same time. Check, we covered that. Now, when you actually go to book it, you're going to tell the app which attractions you're interested in, and then it's going to show up with potential return times. And this is before you check out, I think, to give you an idea of what your day could look like. For the multi-pass option, however, you'll notice that there is a change time feature. That's because the system is probably just going to pick the next available return window for you. Now, I'm guessing that this change time feature will allow you to have some flexibility if you don't want to go with the automatic booking time window, like if you have dining plans or you want to go later in the day, something like that. So it'll give you some flexibility like the modified time option in Genie Plus did. As much as I read all of the details on Disney's website when they announced this, there's still many things that are up in the air that we won't know for definite until the system goes live, such as how modifying, changing times and attractions will actually work after your initial booking. But today we're focused on the things that we definitely do know about this new system. Now, for day of visit details, this new system frees you up to have 3 guaranteed rides and enjoy your park day without having to be constantly on your phone in the app. Let's get into more of the day of details, but first, I think we need a tasty beverage. So we've covered that you'll be able to have an additional booking after using one of your initial pre-trip day booking attractions, but Mediterranean mint lemonade at Bar Riva here at Riviera, 10 out of 10 recommend. So good. All right, let's get into these details though. Now, you don't have to actually tap in and use a lightning lane to be able to book additional ones. It's also if your return window ends. But either way, whether you tap in or the return window expires, it seems like you should be able to book your next attraction for any park or any tier. We'll definitely test it out for sure. Now, in terms of what exactly the booking process looks like day of, not 100% confirmed. Disney did say that the free Genie system will be sticking around. So booking day of rides, that may look similar to what it looks like now. Now, even though some of the details are still fuzzy right now, what we do know for sure is that this new system is going to take strategy, especially strategically booking your first 3 attractions. Now let's dive into some more of the fine print, but don't worry, I did all this for you, no stress. So stacking attractions. Theoretically, I think this should still be a thing that you can do, and stacking attractions is when you book multiple attractions to have return times that are nearby or stacking. That way you can do several rides back to back to back. Now I say theoretically this should still be a thing is because Disney states that you can make 1 new reservation at a time until regular park closing, subject to availability. So maybe. Now, a big thing, however, that it's not around anymore is the 2-hour rule. That is gone. You'll still also get your digital downloads on select attractions. Now, this is interesting because when you initially book your lightning lane, so when you're doing it 7 or 3 days in advance, you will at first have to book these same attractions for everyone in your party. But you will apparently be able to modify quote-unquote selected experiences and arrival windows for some members of your party after you've gone through the initial booking system. So while it does look like you can ultimately change it up, that maybe potentially puts you at a disadvantage for getting some of the more popular rides if you have to book for everyone and then go back in and modify and change it. So might be a slight disadvantage. We'll have to, again, see ultimately how much this affects things. Now, just like with the Genie Plus system, you'll only be able to book an attraction once a day using the system. Now, another question I have is how potentially redemption passes are going to work. I imagine they'll still be around. I'll be curious to see if the same rules apply. And just like with Genie Plus, there were select attractions that were not part of the redemption pass. I imagine that's going to be the same thing, and it's probably like you can't do tier 1 attractions with the redemption pass. But we'll, again, see how all that goes. This new system aims to simplify the process, and I do like that you can at least have 3 guaranteed rides before you even get to Disney World. This also potentially reduces the need to constantly be on your phone and checking for return times and booking 120-minute windows. So it can allow you to be more present in the experience, because Disney's all about creating magical memories with the ones you love. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all these changes, fair, but don't worry, I've got your back, and I'm going to bring you all the latest in future videos. Until then, I'm Molly, and I'll meet you on Main Street.